Hello everybody, welcome to the channel and welcome to the X-Men Marvel Rivals tier list. Now I've been wanting to do this for a while. I wanted to do it last night, but we're here now, we're doing it, we're excited. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a bunch of mainstream X-Men from the comics that we could possibly want in the game. There could be more, and if there is more, let me know down in the comments who I've missed and I will apologise to you directly. But we've got all the main ones and this is how it's going to work. We're going to fit them into their classes, so whether it be a Vanguard, whether it be a Duelist, Strategist, or whether they straight up just be a skin, or whether they straight up just don't belong in the game. But I do not think there's going to be many of that going on with each character. Chat might be different, you in the comments might be different, I don't know. But before we get into it, please make sure you subscribe and like the videos. You've been enjoying the tier list so much, and I've got so many tier list ideas, and if you want to watch them live, make sure you join the Twitch. I stream it every night at 9 PM UK time. So yeah, let's get into it. First we're starting with Angel. Now these are in alphabetical order. Now Angel, yesterday we were talking about a bit.
What?
I think we got about 4 or 5 characters in and then it just blew up and died. First up we've got Angel, and I put him in Duelist yesterday. I'm going to put him in Duelist again. I think Duelist, it's either Duelist or Strategist for me. Duelist because he doesn't have so much in the lines of how could he be healing his teammates, kind of. I would love to see Archangel in the game. Personally, I'd rather it be Archangel instead of Angel, and then we would just get an Angel skin with Dark Angel, if that makes any sense. He could definitely be a really mobile character. I mean, he's got wings, let's be honest. He could fire some of his feathers. It could be the Archangel with a metal. That would be really cool. Maybe that could be his ultimate. Maybe he turns into Archangel and his wings go all metal and he can fire and do loads of damage with them. Chat saying Duelist. I just can't make an argument for myself to put him in Strategist. I don't know what he could be as a Strategist. Yeah, obviously has a bit of regeneration abilities and stuff, but I don't know how he could make other people regenerate. So for me, it's going in Duelist. Next up, we've got Armour. I think this is straight up Vanguard. I don't think there's any arguing with it. Our name is Armour. Strategist for real. Vanguard, right? Well, I think she should be a Vanguard, because look at Magneto. He can give other people shield in the game. I think she could give other people armor. Her alternate could be that she goes even bigger and she turns into this big mech, and she can really deal with a lot of crowd control, and she can basically hit you away. No, I think Armour is pretty much, we can't go through everyone's kit and say this is what it would be, especially with someone like Armour. It's straight up easily a Vanguard. Next up we have got Banshee. Now, it could be a really cool Duelist, but I would, if you don't know who Banshee is an Irish mutant who has the ability to have supersonic screams, and he is able to fly by screaming at the ground and basically pushing himself up, and he has this wingsuit to help him fly. But someone else that can do that is Black Bolt, and I'd much rather have Black Bolt in the game as that character, because they'd very much have the same kit. But what I would love is to make Banshee a Black Bolt skin. If they could change up the abilities to make it look like it's more Banshees, if they had that skin, if they changed the voice actor to make it sound Irish, I would be all for it. Of course that takes a lot of work, but this is all about hope. We're imagining, we're being creative, chat. I would love him as a Black Bolt skin. If you've got Banshee and Black Bolt, I'd very much rather Banshee being the skin than Black Bolt being the skin. I think Banshee does deserve to be in the game, just like every other Marvel character in the planet, especially if it's an X-Man, or an X-Woman, or an X-Men. Anyone in the X-Men needs to join the game. Next up, we've got Beast. Now, I think this is another Strategist. I've seen loads of people on Twitter talking about who Beast should be, whether he should be a Vanguard or whether he should be a Strategist. I think he would be a really interesting Strategist, because he's got all the equipment. He's a really smart scientist. I feel like he could drop loads of equipment, whether it be like health boost, damage reduction, armor. He could be a really good utility Strategist. A Vanguard Strategist. Okay, unsubscribing, he's not a Vanguard. Yeah, I don't think he's a Vanguard. I think he could be a Vanguard, but I just don't know what else his kit could be. So I would much rather see him as a really cool and interesting Strategist in the game rather than a Vanguard. Maybe his ultimate could be beast mode, but you'd want it to be a Strategist ultimate, like a supporting ultimate. I can't really think. So anyway, I'm just going to stick him there because that's what a lot of people want. Beast is a really popular character, and loads of people want him in the game so far. There are tons of people talking about him on Twitter, and they want him as a Strategist, and personally I want him as a Strategist as well. Next up, we've got Bishop. This is straight up top of Vanguard. Bishop would be such an interesting and fun character in the game. If you don't know who Bishop is, he is a mutant with the power of absorbing other people's energies. I would love to see in the game being able to absorb other people's attacks and dish them back out depending on what type of attack that you get towards you. It'd be a really hard character, I think, to master in the game, but I think it would be a really cool character, and I think characters like this belong in Marvel Rivals. These intricate and cool and hard to learn characters fit it perfectly, especially with such unique powers. And he's huge, that's why he's a Vanguard. He's enormous. Easy for me, Bishop's a Vanguard. Next up, we've got Cable. Now, yesterday I did say that I would want him to be a skin for Punisher, but a lot of people hated me, they tried to shoot me, and that's probably why my stream went down. I think we're going to put him in Duelist, because a lot of people think he is a lot different than Punisher, and he is, but I just don't see how they can make his kit incredibly different. Maybe someone mentioned they could have a tracer rewind kind of with the time. He could have a big plasma railgun and stuff, so he definitely could be better. I DDoS you because of the Cable take. Well, I'm sorry, I've moved him into Duelist now. Are you happy? Next up, we've got Cannonball. Now, once again, I don't know loads about Cannonball. I think loads of people talk about wanting Cannonball in the game. Breezy basically just said he's just Johnny Storm, and I believe that as well. So I would want to have that as a Johnny Storm skin. Now, I don't know much about him, so I don't have the real desire to have Cannonball in the game, because he's not.
We took your electricity because of not valid opinions.
I just don't have a real desire to have him in the game, so it would either be a skin or no, just no. But I know there's a lot of people that love Cannonball out there, and you probably love Cannonball watching it right now, that one person. So I'm going to make him a skin for Human Torch. At least I'm including him in the game, okay? At least I'm including him in, because I just don't think he's that special to have his own character. Sorry. Colossus, Vanguard. I mean, top of Vanguard. Colossus is that's made my hands fart. Colossus literally fits the criteria for Vanguard so much. Invulnerable, can take a lot of damage, is huge, is strong. So Vanguard is to stop your team from getting hurt, and you and him would absolutely stop his team from getting hurt by absorbing bullets and absorbing damage. And he's massive, exactly, Chaos. Next up is Cyclops. Now, this is another duelist that I would love in the game. Oh my god. Cyclops is so flippin' cool. I don't know how they would make him. I can't think of his kit. I've seen a lot of different kits on the internet, and they all look amazing. It would be really cool if he was kind of a sniper as well. When you zoom in, you can see through his visor, and you can maybe beam, you could maybe burst damage. Maybe you could change the way you shoot. He could have 3 different primary abilities. He could have burst fire, which would be really, really cool, like a sniper. He's going to have a hit scanning beam. He could have a hit scanning beam. He could have 1 single shots for fires. He could have beam. Like I said, I just really, really want him in the game. He's so cool. He is the X-Man. I know Wolverine's the X-Man, but for me, when I think of the X-Men and leadership, I think of Cyclops. He's such a cool leader in the game, and he definitely could have some cool steam ups. He definitely could have some cool team ups. Anyway, next up we've got Darwin. Now this is a really, really, really interesting one, because I don't know where he fits. Because I really do want him in the game. It would be a very, very hard character to put in the game because of the adapting to survive ability. I want that in the game, but where does it fit? I don't think it's a duelist. Because if you're going that way, then you could probably make Rogue a duelist. A Vanguard probably, because he could change, kind of like an Absorbing Man. I think if Absorbing Man got added into the game, it would either be a Darwin skin, or Darwin would be an Absorbing Man skin. Similar abilities, except his is instinct, and he chooses what to turn into, but this guy just immediately adapts to what he needs to survive. So I think he'd be a really, really, really hard tank to kill. I think in the game they can make him quite big, because he is quite a skinny character in the comics. He's quite small. He's tall, but he's quite skinny. But I think if they made him quite a chunky character in the game, and he adapted to survive, imagine he had like 3 or 4 different forms he turned into depending who he was up against, and the game got coded into that. That would be next level, and I really could see Marvel Rivals doing that. I mean, Marvel Rivals have just been crazy lately with the content, and even with the game works, and with the way the game works, and it all works perfectly, I feel like if they somehow took some time to figure that out, they could really, really bang it. I mean, I think they could do amazing. So I think he'd be a really, really, really hard tank to kill. I think in the game they can make him quite big, because he is quite a skinny character in the comics. He's quite small. He's tall, but he's quite skinny. I think if they made him quite a chunky character in the game, and he adapted to survive, imagine he had like 3 or 4 different forms he turned into depending who he was up against, and the game got coded into that. That would be next level, and I really could see Marvel Rivals doing that. Next up we've got Dazzler. Once again, if they'd done a Banshee situation where they changed the way the abilities look and the voice actor is, I think it really could be a Luna Snow skin, because you've got the singing. She could, instead of fire and frost, she could, like, you know, she could be a duelist as well. This is the thing, I don't know. It could be a Luna Snow skin, but it would be hard to change because her abilities or kind of screaming. As long as Taylor Swift doesn't voice her, I'm happy with life. I think Dazzler, we can stick in Duelist because it would just be hard to change Luna Snow's abilities. Instead of firing out her hands, it would have to be with her singing. How would they explain Luna's freeze? Exactly, so they would have to change that, and it wouldn't be possible. Next up, we've got Next up, we've got Domino. Now, yeah, I don't know. I think Domino could be... I'm sticking at skin because I'm thinking it's luck, right? How are you going to work luck into it? I mean, no one would play the character higher than silver and if it came to competitive, because you can't just rely on luck in a game. What do you guys think about a Widow skin though? Because they're not similar in looks, but it's the most similar and they have the most similar kit. If tomorrow Marvel Rivals dropped Domino as a Black Widow skin, I would be happy, let's put it that way. Next up, we've got Forge. Now, I'm not going to lie, chat, I really don't know a lot about this character. Next up, we've got Gambit. Now, I just saw Sour Pickle saying, Gambit, strategist, hear me out. No. Next up, we've got Havoc. Now, this is straight up Vanguard for me because well, if you don't know my channel and you don't know me, Havoc is my favourite X-Men. He's so interesting and he's insanely powerful. And the amount of energy that he could distribute in this game would be absolutely awesome. I mean, imagine like firing huge rings of plasma energy. His ultimate would obviously be wreak havoc, but he could just explode and fire rings that bounce everywhere. So if you done that in an enclosed space, he could do insane amount of damage. I mean, stupid amount of damage. The only other Vanguard I want over him is Juggernaut, but we're doing an X-Men villains tier list pretty soon, so make sure you keep an eye out for that one. But Juggernaut, I'm pretty sure you all agree as well that Juggernaut is going straight in Vanguard, but we'll talk about that more when we get into that one. Next up is Iceman. I think we've got another duelist here. Iceman, once again, one of my favourite characters in the comics. I really wanted to be Iceman when I was younger, especially through the LEGO Marvel Superheroes game. He was so cool in it. He was one of the only few abilities that he could freeze stuff with, and you always use Iceman with it in the LEGO Marvel game. Iceman is OP as fuck. He could be a great duelist. He should also have a team up with Luna. That would be amazing. I think I would prefer it would be a duelist. I think he'd be a really high mobile, disrupting duelist. Do you know how much he could stun people, he could freeze people, and he's got to have the slide, so he'd be a really fast duelist. If he was in the air, he could float down by creating kind of surfing, which would be absolutely amazing. I just think Iceman has to be in the game. I mean, he's such an iconic Marvel character. Everybody loves Iceman. He would have really interesting abilities. I think if he could have where he fires like sharp icicles into you, that could be really cool, deal a lot of damage, but he also could have a spray one where he could slow you down. Next up, we've got Jean Grey. Now, a lot of people want this character to be a strategist. I don't know what chat thinks. I'm not a big strategist fan. I don't like playing a lot of strategists, but that's just because I'm not a good healer. I would love her to be a duelist, but we've already got so many duelists already, and I want to see what chat thinks a little bit about this. I would love her to be able to interact with the destructible environment. We've not had any characters like that yet, where if a building falls apart and crumbles, could you imagine if Jean Grey could pick up rocks and fling them at the enemy team? I think that would be so cool. Okay, we'll make her a strategist, but I really want Phoenix in the game. I don't know if that's enough to make Phoenix her own character. Sure, she's been a strategist. Listen, I'm not complaining. As long as she's in the game, I'm happy. Next up, we've got Jubilee. Jubilee also strategist. I don't know. I just don't want more strategists, guys. She definitely could be a strategist. Like I said, these type of characters could easily be strategists. Imagine how her little sparks could heal you. That's true. And each colour could do a different thing. She can maybe have damage reduction, damage boost, healing, armour. That's a good point. I say that's a good point as if you made the point, but I'm saying she could easily use her sparks like that. Yeah. Do you know what? Cool. That would be a really cool strategist. Jubilee's going to strategist. Next up, we have got another strategist. It's Kitty Pryde. In fact, I'm putting her up the top. I have been raging on about Kitty Pryde to be a strategist for months. Could you imagine how annoying Kitty Pryde would be if she was in the game as a strategist? 1, her primary attack could be Lockheed, holding him and just spraying fire on people. 2, he could heal people. 3, she could send Lockheed to go and heal people for her. She could move people through walls into different parts of the map. I mean, I think her ultimate could be that she could link everyone up and they could do damage or something for 5 or 10 seconds, between that kind of range, say 8 seconds, and no one can take any damage and all they do is just push, right? But Kitty Pryde for me, going straight as strategist. I want her in the game, and if you add it tomorrow Marvel Rivals, I am yours forever. I'll sign any contract. Next up, we've got Nightcrawler. Pretty similar to Deadpool, the way I imagine him about the teleportation stuff, but I feel like, I know we're keep saying strategist, but he would be a pretty cool strategist. Has this been 3 strategists in a row? I think it has. Nightcrawler as a strategist is pretty good. I mean, he could easily move people in and out of combat. Another teleportation thing in the game would be interesting because we know how game-changing Strange's portals are, so he could maybe teleport the whole team in and out of combat if something bad happens. He's basically invulnerable to ults if he has his abilities. I mean, he could just teleport and go away. It would have to be very much either you leave a mark behind, and if you go and attack and you basically are about to die, you can teleport back to your mark, or you can do it to where you're looking. So I don't know how they'd work it out, or they could add both, to be fair. His tail definitely do some damage, but the whole healing other people apart from that, I don't know if he'd be much of a healer. I think he would just be so much of a moving in and out of people kind of support, if that makes sense. Like a utility support, I've said it all the way. Definitely Forge would be a utility support, Beast would be a utility support, and I think Nightcrawler would be very much a mobile support for sure, helping the team to get in and out of places and making the team a lot more of a mobile strength, especially if you have tanks. Some tanks are really slow, like I'm sure Colossus and Armour would be super duper slow. Next up we have got Polaris. Now this one is the first one that I immediately know where it's going, and that is skin. I think a female Magneto skin, Polaris. It's his daughter, same abilities, little bit of difference, but my god, could you imagine everything being green instead? Her in that really cool outfit with the green hair. Oh yes, give me it please. Magneto Polaris skin. I've just smacked the mic, I do apologise. Sure, she's female Magneto. I mean, yeah, we need gender bender skins so bad. Gender bent skins would be crazy. Well, that's the thing. I'm going to talk about gender bent skins a wee bit here. I think that is so needed in the game. That would be awesome because, one, people like Jane Foster never getting in the game because it's so similar to Thor's abilities. It's just Thor. Once you hold me on there, you get Thor's abilities. But if you add Jane Foster to the game, people with same kits, it's basically like having 2 heroes in the game. You just get to pick through this one character. Hulk and Red Hulk, 2 completely different characters in the game, but the very similar kit and basically the same kit. If you put them in the same thing and you click Hulk, it comes up with the ability to play Red Hulk as well with another skin, and it just basically means they're adding other heroes, as much heroes as possible, to make it really feel like a Marvel universe, while you're just still using the same skin as Hulk, but you've got a different voice lines, it sounds different, and it's Red Hulk. It's as similar as that, so I think that would be really cool if you got a female voice actor for Polaris and made it a Magneto skin. It's basically just like getting a new hero in the game, so I would absolutely love that. Next up, we've got Professor X. I think this is a strategist. I mean, the floating wheelchair would be interesting in game. It would be cool to see how that changes with each skin. Yeah, as a strategist, he's not going to be anyone else. A lot of people really, really want Professor X. He's not top of my list, but he's definitely someone I want to see in the game at some point. I don't think he'd be much of a damaging character unless he runs you over. I mean, I don't... Next up, we've got Quicksilver. For me, it's a duelist. Now, once again, I know we've got so many guys, but he could be a strategist. He definitely could be a strategist. Yeah, I think as a duelist, I'd much rather him in the game. They would have to make him perfect. If they made him wrong, he would be took out the game and never put back in because people would hate him that much. I'm not even kidding. I think if they made a mistake with how fast he went, or how quickly he could do things, how quickly he could do his abilities, he might be took out the game. One of those ones where not even a buff can fix it. Take him out of the game, rework him, put him straight back in. And it would be so interesting how he could work with everyone else. Exactly. Again, it could be more of a utility duelist. It could be a Nightcrawler situation where he can move in and out of people's backlines and move people in. He can move people out. He could do a lot of damage for sure. Maybe his ultimate could be a whirlwind. I don't know. Him and Scarlet will have a team up. Exactly. Could have a really cool team up. Next up, we have got Rogue. Definitely one of my favourite characters. Such an interesting, unique kit she would have. Just where does she go? I mean, she could go in any of these 3. I'm not even kidding. Vanguard's probably the least. And then Duelist and Strategist. She could be a strategist, but this is what I want for Rogue. Okay, listen to this. This is what I want for Rogue. Rogue, at the start of the game, has 0 abilities. The first custom type, exactly, Brandon, 0 abilities. All she has is a sprint and a punch. In this whole round of gameplay, whatever game it is, the whole game, you can steal 3 other people's abilities. It's as simple as that. If you go up and you steal Spider-Man swinging, you can swing as Rogue. If you go up and steal Doctor Strange's shield, you can use a shield. If you go up and steal Cloak's left click, you could use all 3 of them, but you would only be able to use the 3 of them the whole game, and that's all you get. And I would love that in the game. It would be super hard to make, but Marvel Rivals, I feel like you could do it for sure, and the skins would be awesome. I feel like you could have a Mystique skin for her because of the way she would play. It would be like Mystique's just turning into the other person, so that would be pretty cool. I don't know, but Rogue as a duelist for me, that's where I'm going to stick it, because I think that's so interesting. Now, would that be more of a duelist or a strategist type of role? It's more of a utility role because of she could steal anyone's ability, so she could become an ultimate healer by stealing all their healers' abilities. You could play Rogue as any class you wanted. One game, if you wanted to steal loads of tank abilities and be a big ass tank, then go for it. That'd be awesome. If you want to switch it up and play balance during the game, you can help out your team. It would definitely be interesting, and I would love to see how it would shake up competitive, because my god would I love to see that. Next up, we've got Sunspot. Now, I know a lot of people out there are probably saying, oh my god, he's such a cool character. Yes, he's cool. I just want him as a Johnny Storm skin. The whole really dark and glowing eyes and everything else is really pitch black and has that X-Men uniform. Very similar abilities. Please just make a Johnny Storm skin. I'd be happy. I definitely want Sunspot in the game, but I'd probably rather him as a skin. Next up, we've got Warpath. Now, I kind of had to look up his abilities because I wasn't so sure on it. He can fly. He's basically Superman, superhuman physical ability in virtually all areas. Well, if that's the case, he looks big. I know he's big. I know he's got daggers. I know he's huge. He's built like a brick house. He's a vanguard. I can't talk about it. That's what Google said. Fair enough. Perfect. Next up, we have got X23 skin. Yeah, I didn't want to make it another skin, but I feel like X23 would be a real interesting skin. Now, the whole hitbox would be interesting because she'd be a lot skinnier than Wolverine, because Wolverine's small and chunky. She's tall, skinny, and mobile. So she definitely could be her own character, but I'm just going to set it in skin. I'm sure Marvel Rivals could figure out everything else after that. They'd fix the hitbox. I just want her to be a skin. I don't think she's that much different. Just make her. Anyway, that is it for the X-Men tier list. Let me know what you thought. I think there was some really good ideas in here, and I think everyone kind of belongs in their categories. There maybe could be a couple that we could change. I'm probably going to change that in the future, looking back on it. We'll do plenty of these. There'll be ones every year, I'm sure, so make sure you subscribe and come back, because we do loads of tier lists. I enjoy doing these live, so if you want to come watch them live, please be sure to follow the Twitch down below. The link's in the description, and I stream 9 PM every night UK time on Twitch. So yeah, I think this works well. I'm happy with it. I love the X-Men. I hope you love the X-Men. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.